And Mike's muted. How's everybody going?
Hey Brian, how are you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Always good, thank you. Living the dream.
Yeah. Trying to organize myself. 1 second. All right. Let me share my screen real quick. Jonathan Johnson racing. Hello, Jens. Welcome to the club.
Morning, Brian.
Ah, all right. Trying to figure out if I want to sit down or stand up. I feel like I've been sitting down too much lately. Too much sitting. It's not good for you. So stand up. We are recording. All right, let me know if you can see that. You used to have a standing desk, but your wife got rid of it because she said she bought me a nice writing desk. Yeah. Yeah. Standing desk is it's necessary, man. Especially if you work from home, 100%. It's been I've been working from home before trading, even before COVID, before all that stuff. I was working from home 100% for a good year or two before that. That's when I figured out I needed standing desks. I was sitting all day and kind of playing a lot of soccer. I realized football. I realized that sitting all day tightens all my muscles up in my hips and in my legs and everything else, and it causes a ton of issues elsewhere. So I've gotten kind of turned into a bit of a stretching freak in the last few years because of all that. I used to have like a ton of like lower back problems. I was always going to the chiropractor. It's always trying to fix stuff, and the only thing that fixed it was just
Hey guys, good
stretching.
morning.
What's up, Vlad?
How are you?
I'm sorry, I gotta turn you guys up. I got every Friday they come in outside doing the lawn and stuff. It's loud as hell. Let's see what's going on in the markets. All right, we've got GU in a 4-hour break theory range for potential downward movement. That's great. Oh, I missed something? Let's see. All right, we got a supply hole and a giant range here. Do we have, is there a sweep? Yeah. Oops. Supply hold. Now, is it going to come back for that? That's the real question. Looks like it's taking this whole thing. So in reality, I'd like price to come back up here. So I'll set an alert.
Yeah, I'm waiting same.
Yeah, we'll see. There's a lot of momentum, it looks like.
Yeah.
So we'll see what we get. But from the 5 minute perspective, we also have this as our M1 break. It's also a 5 minute break theory. So keep an eye here as well. All right. Man, stretch can be bad for some people, but strengthening your muscles can solve most problems. Yeah, you need a good balance. You need a good balance. The problem is like I used to think it was a strength problem with my back and stuff, but the amount that I was going to the gym and the amount of times that I was playing football every week, the doctors were like, it's not a strength problem. It shouldn't be a strength problem. Like, if anything, It's a tightness issue with all your muscles. And I went to a physical therapist, and then I started seeing a massage therapist, and then I started like stretching like regularly because I would, maybe it's just because I'm old, but I'd play, a full 90-minute game, and then I wouldn't do any stretching at all. I'd just go home and like go to bed. It was just like causing problems. So need a balance. Definitely need a balance. Like my upper shoulders and stuff, where my neck, doc said it need to strengthen there, so that's different. But you just gotta listen to your physios, I guess. I'm sure Vlad knows. Vlad's always training.
Always. Try to
Char-
go maybe to some therapist or massage, you know?
Yeah, I've actually have a massage today. I've got a big tournament this weekend. I've got 3 games tomorrow. So
Oh, wow. Football?
yeah, yeah.
Oh.
It's the Heineken Cup in Dallas. It's I play in the adult competitive league. It's against like old semi-pros and ex-college players and stuff. And so
Uh,
it'll be pretty intense. The problem is that I have got a game at 9 o'clock, 3:30, and then 7 o'clock, and it's going to be 100 degrees out tomorrow,
uh,
maybe over. It's 103 today, which is crazy. Which is what, like 40 Celsius, something like that for you guys everywhere else. It's hot. So I've been chugging water all day long. I've been peeing nonstop. I think there's diminishing returns. I think at some point there's no point in doing
so
anything.
tomorrow we will be expecting translation from football field, you know?
Yeah, I'll give you updates.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we got
Three
a
games sounds a lot though.
yeah, dude. It's gonna be busy. Well, so a lot of the teams they play tonight. They all get a game tonight and they play 2 tomorrow. For whatever reason, they scheduled us and a few other teams for 3 tomorrow, which sucks. What's up, David? What's up, Charles? Yeah, not great. Not a big fan. But, I guess that's the way the cookie crumbles. We should have at least at least 19, 20 guys. So maybe like a couple guys we'll just rest and then we'll put them in as fresh legs in those last couple games. But I play center back, and center back usually we don't get subbed. We usually
You gotta
play.
run though.
Yeah, I know. Well, the problem is we're playing in the open division, so it's like we're playing against like kids who are just about to go to college or just going into college or are in college, and they're looking to play like at the UPSL leagues, and they're trying to go pro and stuff. So, and I'm over here at 36, old as shit, trying to keep up. But that's where my 6'2" build's gonna come into play. I'm just gonna body them. That's my
Play on
plan.
experience, bro.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, oh, you want to be quick? All right, I'm not gonna
Fucking
get that.
those kids are hungry, bro. When they're
I
starting to
do.
get into it, they get hungry for places and spots in the teams.
Oh, I know, dude.
Be
There's gonna be
tough.
scouts in there for them, so they're gonna be
Oh
they're gonna
yeah.
be showing off. If they want to show off, I'm ready for it. If they want to burn me with speed, though, that's where they're gonna get me. But that's all right. I got some quick fullbacks. They'll help me out. Should be fun. Should be fun. But if we win our group, we go to play the semis and finals on Sunday. So I might have two. Yeah, I'm 6'2", 6'2", 185, pretty lean.
Oh wait, so yeah, when it's a cup, you get like only for weekend matches, right?
Yeah, this one's a pretty short one. Last summer we played, I was on a different team, but we got our Friday night game and then we got a Saturday game, but then one of the other teams actually bailed on the tournament, so we didn't get a second game, so we couldn't fight for extra points to move up in the group, which is really weird. I feel like we got gypped. So we ended up not coming in first in our group because we didn't even get to play a third game when everybody else did. It's kind of weird. And they're like, "Oh, sorry." It's like, okay, that's not the case this time, though.
Also, like if you have like 3 matches tomorrow, like how many teams are there?
Let's see. There's like
Has to be like
there's like
7.
64. There's quite a few teams. the big tournament. Let me
It's a
see
lot.
oh, you guys can't see this. Hold on, let me screenshot it. Yeah, so I mean, it's huge. It's at the Dallas or the Toyota FC Dallas stadiums here in Dallas. But they have they have all kinds of leagues. They got the men's over 40, the men's 30 silver league, the men's over 30 gold league. Then they have the men's competitive, and then they have men's premier. So this one, yeah, look, this is the bracket. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 brackets with 4 teams in each. So there's quite a few teams. We're where are we? Oh, right here, Dallas Old Boys. So we'll see.
It's a lot. That's really,
Yeah, this
really
is
tough.
it'll be fun. It'll be intense.
I remember, man, when I used to play nationally, and it was not a cup, but it was like a camp, like
Okay.
preparing for like European Championship.
Yeah.
And we had like sparring matches throughout the whole week, morning and evening, every fucking day.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It gets crazy. Like if when I used to play like on professional level, you get
Hmm.
like 7 hours a day. You're
Yep.
like constantly practicing,
Yep.
which is crazy, man. And I remember like since I got injured on my lower back, um one neurosurgeon like told me, she was like a very famous here neurosurgeon, and he was like, man, professional sports are not healthy at all. Like even though like people, like to say, go play professionally somewhere, it's not healthy because body's not meant to take that amount of like physical
No.
training and
What position did you play?
but I didn't play soccer. I played water polo.
Oh, Jesus. Dude, water polo is insane. I don't know how you tread water for that long while people are just like basically trying to drown you.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah. It's pretty aggressive, and it's tough, very tough sport.
yeah.
And but like I was also like, I'm left-hander, and like it was, I did pretty well, man. I used to play pretty well, and then like
Yeah.
in the gym, not warming up, not stretching, and my
Yep.
lower back just got fucked. After
Yeah,
like
dude.
I would have been at Olympics, but actually now I'm like glad that I'm not on that Olympic shit.
Yeah.
When
I
I
mean,
see how everything is working out there.
yeah, the Olympics are they've been getting a bit weird. There's a lot of shit they're going through. So weird. The committee makes some interesting decisions, but
Yeah.
it is.
It's that's such a, I mean, imagine like struggling through your whole life, preparing for like the biggest event that you
Yep.
want to go to, and just fuck, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I won't get into the politics of it all,
Yeah.
but I know what you
Yeah.
mean. It's rough. Look at all, yeah, I mean that's the thing though, like just in general, like you need rest. Like everybody burns out at such a young age. One of the issues right now, it's like a lot of like football players, they play professionally before they're even, 19, and they play tons of games. They go through rigorous camps and training and stuff, and they're blowing their knees out by the time they're even like 23. They're just getting absolutely burned out. But it's a huge money generating machine to get these young players in there to work them to the bone and then try to keep them fit. Eventually they have career-ending injuries and they just can't keep up and they just get the next guy in. Some
Yeah.
stand out, some last a whole career without getting injured, but it's pretty rare.
Yeah, usually they like you get retired at like 30, 32. Like it would be like depending on the sport, of course, but usually it gets until that age and your body starts to crumble.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Premier League is like that. I mean, like you look at like Bukayo Saka on Arsenal. I don't know how old it is. He's pretty young, but like he's constantly getting injured, and there's no way he's gonna have a long career. But he's so good, and it's kind of unfortunate. How old is Bukayo Saka? Yeah, he's only 22, and he's like constantly injured.
Brian, could you explain that setup right there?
Yeah, so we got a 5 minute break theory right here and a 4 hour break theory range for, pro trend lower prices. The M5, we had this guy, right? This guy. Now we've taken that, we've taken this, we've taken this and reacted within it and it gave us lower prices. We had price trade up, trade down, trade in, stop and hold, supply hold, sweeps this guy right here. This is that first tap into this large imbalanced range, right? Imbalance here, imbalance there, imbalance here, imbalance here. Why does it stop here? I'm saying it's the range. So this, if you don't even look at that, it's trading back into this. So that's a potential entry. You have a new 5 minute break theory here, which if you don't want to trade this, you can wait for a reaction to it, hold supply, find liquidity if you can. The problem with that is that the liquidity would be above this level. And then you can look for entry there. So that's the idea.
Thank you.
I think the Dodgers signed a 14-year-old. What position? Baseball, I don't know how I feel about. The pitchers get the worst of it. Well, the youngest professional player in the US for MLS is 14. It's insane. He got signed to Man City, but he's not even allowed to go until he's 16 because he's too young. Mid infielder, yeah. As long as it's not the pit. I can't imagine a 14-year-old pitcher playing in the MLB. That'd be nuts. Kid would have some heat.
Different people like your family or your friends can come there just to watch the football.
For my tournament?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna have my kids come to that 7 p.m. game just because
Yeah.
it's just way too hot for them to sit out there.
Yeah.
It's like there's no shade at all. It's totally open. They get
Yeah,
cooked.
I agree. Got it.
Yeah, I need to find a way to stay hydrated all day. Usually after like one game in the morning, I feel a bit lethargic and stuff. Having to play two more is gonna be insane.
Who is your favorite football player?
My favorite football player
Yeah,
of all time or
yeah.
currently?
No, no, all time.
All time would be Terry Henry.
Mm, what do you think about Ronaldinho, Zidane?
I mean Zidane's up there for sure. But Henry he was always I grew up just like admiring him the most. Ronaldo when he was on Manchester United like way back in the day, that was
Yeah.
a big one too. I feel like he kind of changed the game, the way
Yeah,
he
when I
played.
was young, I really I like to watch how Zidane to play. You know,
Yeah.
I always thought he's really one of the best. You know, like he
Yeah.
he and Beckham.
Yeah. You know what? I never really watched Beckham that much. I watched a ton of like old school Arsenal, Bergkamp,
Yeah,
even when Van Persie was on the team, and then um, Henry and those guys. But then, yeah, Zidane he was pretty big too. He's my brother's favorite player.
Fuck man, that Arsenal team was pretty lit.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, they've got some new guys on the team now. It'll be interesting to see, but they just lost to freaking uh, Liverpool the other day on the friendly. So that was kind of unfortunate. But I don't know if they're playing. I feel like everybody's playing their kind of young guys and stuff. Just kind of checking them out for the season.
It's completely different. It looks like a completely different game than like 10, 20 years ago, though.
Yeah,
Like
it's totally
football.
different.
I feel like it was more aggressive, you know, before.
Yeah,
No,
there's
it
more
doesn't
there's more
just look like it.
creative too.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Right now it's all strategy and basically not losing, which is kind of boring. That's why I
Yeah.
like the lower tier divisions or like the guys at the bottom of the table. Everybody at the top of the table of the Premier League is like it's kind of you watch these two giants go up against each other and it's like, oh, this is gonna be a good game, and it's just so boring.
Oh, what you mean?
Yeah, I feel like I'd be better off watching some of the. I always watch like the big guys go against each other, and it's boring. And I'm watching the score on the other games, and scoreboard's running up. It's like a 5-3 game. There's like goals every couple minutes. Like, damn it. It's like watching the wrong game. All
I
right.
feel like now today is all about like speed and running, and whoever
Mhm.
gets the ball to the goal.
It's pure
That's
endurance.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
When I played in colleges, it sucked. It took all the fun out of the game. There's no more creativity. They didn't allow it. If you did anything that wasn't just the simplest pass, the simplest movement, but not in passing backwards, any of that stuff, oh my God, they'll just bench you. They don't want it. They just want people who can run fast. I played with players who could run for days, but their touch was terrible. Like, why are they on the field? It didn't matter. They could outrun so and so. They could, put enough pressure on somebody else to make them mess up, and that's all they cared about. So kind of ruined it for me a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty much about scoring, like mostly.
Yep. Yeah. It's all right. It's results at the end of the day, right? That's all that matters. I just want to have fun. All right. I'm probably, I don't know. I'm not supposed to trade NFP, but NFP's already played, so it's been fine. We got 5-minute breaks. Supplies held here. Probably margin balance here. Not too bad here. The main thing is that this liquidity here has to be sufficient for the move. This has to be the mitigation of the range. Otherwise, the trade's higher, but that's okay. I don't mind. I think I'll probably put a trade on there. Same bolt. Is it better to wait for a new M1 sweep as we're coming into the new M5 break theory? You can, you don't have to though, because if you look at it from the perspective of this setup here, it's actually much closer than I thought it would be. But still, the hour and 15-minute window is still good for here. So technically, right, if anything, we have more commitment to the downside. So
Ryan, when it comes to the ranges, what should we put it on above the entry zone or should we throw it further up? When do you usually determine that?
what are you talking about? Your stop loss?
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, so when it comes to the ranges, I tend to cover just the supply. If I'm wrong, then I'd rather be wrong right here. And it might trade up into this. But more often than not, when you have these large imbalances and ranges, it's gonna hold the range and you can just trade this level. And yeah, I tend to do that because the thing is, like if I do this and
Above.
I look at my TP level, oops. It's usually not worth it. So sandbag on a Friday, right? 1.7 pips versus 4 or R, sorry. So to me, that's not worth it. Even if I went to standard, which on Friday, again, I tend to just go to sandbag. That's 2.5 R. I'm happy with that.
Right.
But if I'm going to throw risk on, I don't like to generally, and I'm not saying this
So
is
huge.
playing
It's so
scared.
huge distance.
Right. That's okay.
Yeah. Look, one of the things that you'll kind of eventually, right? And this isn't something I'm teaching you guys now, but when you guys have the strategy down, whether it's exactly this or a version of it, however you are finding profit, you're going to want to scale up. It's super important to put proper size on your trades to make money. It's not something that I necessarily need to coach you through now per se, but like if you look at all the big traders, any trader that is trading for hedge funds that you might find in some kind of trading interview or whatever, when you feel comfortable enough and you know the setup is good and you feel solid about it, 1% sometimes doesn't cut it. You often want to size in, you want to size up because at the end of the day, that's kind of how you make the real money. You're not going to do it on every
Yeah.
trade. You might have different reasons for different sizing on at different positions, but when you kind of have everything down pat and you're consistently making money, the next step, the next hurdle is putting proper size on. So, I kind of forget what the main point of that was or what we were talking about before that, but the main idea, right, is if I'm going to target this guy and I'm putting size on this trade and I have this isn't worth it to me. I don't want to take a slow loss that might, lose whatever, a couple percent, whereas this is going to be worth it to me.
Right.
So again, that risk
Perfect.
reward, obviously important. Scaling up or not scaling, scaling up. Yeah, scaling up your position, your sizing and stuff like that as you grow. That's one of the things that I'm personally trying to work on now and making sure it's kind of like that hesitation versus being patient. I'm walking that fine line and making sure I'm, you know, risking appropriately, finding the right size, and doing it in a way that is systematic, somewhat secure, and not gambling. You know what I mean? So there's that fine line that I'm trying to define for myself now as I grow into as a trader. One of the people that I've been kind of monitoring is the S&B trader Lance. What's his name? Bernstein. He is a professional intraday. He's a scalper, but he worked for Trillium Capital, and I think he's at SMB now. But one of the big things he talks about is properly sizing trades once you've gotten your edge down, because that's where essentially all the money is made, right? Outside of that, you find yourself in a situation where you're constantly maybe breaking even, or maybe you're finding yourself in a situation where you might win a big trade, a good trade, and then your your losing streaks are kind of chipping away at it more than you'd like, stuff like that. But again, that's where I'm at in my learning phase is learning how to properly size my positions instead of just going 1% for everything. So that's my current challenge, trying to figure that one out, but thought I'd pass that on to you guys because it is the next step once you get consistent with the strategies.
Brian, sorry, I tried to figure out what you're talking about. It's like, can you say, did I understand right or no? You mean like if we show, for example, in our position, yes, we can use more than 1%, yes, for trades, for example, or no?
Yeah, so but it only that is the primary idea, yeah. Is
Mm-hmm.
scaling up in terms of
Yeah,
increasing
I
risk.
got it, but I think like we have a reason to do it if we have some books, for example, if we take a couple wins, for example, in the
Hmm.
months, yeah, and we have uh, like some money for next step for risking, probably it should to do it like this, because when people only
Yes.
start to work and yeah, I think yeah. Okay, I got
Yeah,
it.
it all that comes from having a buffer. Like you can't do it from drawdown. You don't want to do it from break even. It's all about again having that buffer. But
Mm-hmm.
the primary idea is just figuring out how to be as
Mm-hmm.
selective as possible and making sure that you're trading, the best possible setup and then saying, you know what, this checks all the boxes. I'm following the trend. I'm, in alignment with the market. I've
Mm-hmm.
been doing well lately. Like there's a lot of different points to kind of decipher to say, you know what, I can increase my risk on this trade and then go from there. It's not about doing it every time, 3% every single trade. It's about saying, you know what, everything's in alignment. I'm up 6% for the week. Let me go ahead and this is perfect. Let me set, 3% risk on this trade, something like that.
Yeah, I agree, because but I want to say it's a little bit dangerous to tell a lot of us, to do it, because not all of to come to like some consistency, and it's the
Oh,
reason
I
like
know.
why people can do, oh, okay, no problem, sell, you know.
I mean, believe me, I get it. One of the hardest things about this whole thing in general is like one, I've never been really good at, holding people's hands very well. I like to push people to figure things out themselves because
Yeah.
the answer that you find from that stuff will just take you so much further than if I just give
Yeah,
it to you.
I agree with you.
And plus, I always find people asking the same questions, a couple weeks later. It's like, I'm pretty sure I answered that already for you. But it's because I gave it to them, right? So they get confused when they get there. But point being is I can't be there when you guys pull the trigger on these trades. Only you guys can like really make sure that you're not being ridiculous. Some people are gonna do pretty terrible things to their accounts, and I'll be none the wiser. People have to have that level of professionalism and kind of ability to self-regulate and control their emotions and control their tilts. If they go on tilt, like throwing caution in the wind, just saying fuck it and hitting every single trade out there until they hopefully nail one. There's a lot of people who do that stuff. I see it every day in the My Funded Future stuff and, back at Swift. It was just a
Hmm.
constant thing. You'd see somebody who'd make, a couple good trades and they'd be on your radar for possibly, getting live funding or something like that in the case of like My Fund Futures. And then you'll just see them just absolutely lose it. They'll take a loss, it'll be a small one, they'll hit another one, and then all of a sudden they've got like 6 losses in a single day in a matter of like an hour. Like, what the hell happened? He was doing so well. And then it happens all the time. Like
I think
all the time.
people
It's bad.
who can do 6 losses per 1 hour, they just really love to fuck each self, because I can explain it another way.
Something about the way you say fuck is just like very I don't know, it like cuts through you. It's probably that Russian accent.
Hey, Brian, from quick question.
Yeah.
From here, if we're looking for proper considerations, what would we be looking for exactly?
So in this case, if we want to, let's say we didn't get into this trade and we're just like, you know what, there's a new break theory, and I'm looking at this as possibly supply from the previous setup. What I need from here is basically a low formed, because outside of that, all we have is this. So what would need to happen is we need to do this, hold something, and then we'd have a low to play with. And once that low breaks, we can look to get in there potentially. But the problem, I guess, now is do we have liquidity, which we kind of don't, right? So
Mhm.
then that would throw our trade idea off. If it's gonna set up from here, it needs to take liquidity somewhere, and that liquidity is pretty much just this high, which is not great. Yes, sandbag for Friday. What was NFP like? This was NFP right here, right? 50 pips. Pretty pretty light for NFP, honestly. It's usually 100 pip, but I guess you get the whole range. Yeah, it's about 100 pips. Yeah, NFP usually moves price 100 pips in a day, but it's more often than not in the actual news release candle. So, you know, just kind of weak, honestly, for this. But again, there's other news this week. It's still summer. So maybe that's why. But when we start hitting 100-day kind of moves, surprisingly, it didn't sweep first. I was not expecting that, but happens occasionally. Not worth putting risk on though. That's the thing. You just don't know. You don't want to get slipped 50 pips. That'd be brutal. I don't even know where this is in relation to the 4 hour. Is it purely counter trend? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so this would be purely counter trend move. It does look pretty nice to be fair. Was there an actual setup? This is fairly tight, but you can map it from here, here. It's probably better. Oh, set alert. So now we're making a little bit of a low here. I'm setting alert this low as well. All right, so first break theory, this would be the demand hold. Does it sweep? Yeah, it sweeps this little low here in the back leg. What did we break right? Okay. And then it does break above here, so this would be an entry. Then you have the new break theory. There's no liquidity really here. This takes this low. I would consider that a reaction to that, but then it goes anyway. So there's no demand hold there, and then you go here. There's a demand hold here. Kind of holds throughout all this, to be fair. This is like a subtle demand hold. This is the more obvious demand hold. You get the break on the subtle one here. And then the question would be, are you satisfied with whatever's happening here as your liquidity? Because it doesn't even take out anything in here. So then it'd be like, all right, is this a low, high, low demand hold break? So would this be your sweep? If you were saying, yeah, that's my sweep, then the setup would work. If you're not too sure, probably wouldn't. And then you have the next break theory level. Price breaks up, trades down. Pretty much no demand hold here. You'd have to be chaining from all this stuff, which may or may not be a bit confusing in a live market. It's really just, do you feel satisfied with this? Because if that is it, then you have your hour and 15 from here, and that's, oh, it's just outside it. Right. And again, you can give or take a couple minutes, but you don't want to go too much further than hour and 15. Sometimes hour and 16, 17 minutes is okay. But again, it's just going to give you more hesitation, more pause if you're happy with it. And well, it's not too imbalanced. Yeah, you don't have to take the range. So couple options. This is probably the best one right here as price comes into basically into this level. And then from there, rips, but again, you'd be risking the potential to be slipped 50 pips. 50 pips would take you down here.
Yeah, in
That's
FP,
dangerous.
so dangerous. I think so.
So dangerous. NFP 9 out of 10 times will sweep. Today, it didn't, which is fine, but 9 out of 10 times it will. All right, so again, I'm in this trade. If I wasn't on this call, I wouldn't even be looking at this because I don't want to know what kind of pullback BS we get here. I just want to know if I'm going to get to target and or not. So in this case, we have what do we have? This little low here. Whether we like take that seriously or not as any sort of, I don't know, demand, if you will, and then that this here would be a reaction for supply, then maybe. But again, we don't want to get too overly refined on the M1. We just want to take whatever's obvious. And that's not obvious to me. It doesn't stand out. So let's look at NQ. What's NQ doing? NQ is just farting around. It's unfortunate. This thing went on tear. One of the hard parts about this particular move is that it came into this level, right? Which is fine. It's great. But we have this. Where we took this low, which follows expectational order flow. We had one break to the upside, which again doesn't constitute a reverse in price, but it's still intention to the upside. So the question becomes, if you can catch anything in here, should you hit it? The answer is pretty much yes, question mark. Like you gotta be pretty confident in the move. It's got to be in session, which I think it did go in session here. I think the only setup was down here, right? I think Jonathan took this. I was looking at this guy originally, and then I switched off. I wasn't looking at this, unfortunately, but I think, if I remember correctly, there was a setup. So you have supply first, right? Order operations matters, supply hold. You had, yeah, it was this here. So price traded up, traded down. We took the high. So we get to use that as a sweep. And then I think Jonathan either got involved on this whole buy candle or this guy here. And either way, it's a 14, about a 14, 15 point stop loss, which depending on what you're trading, I think that's like what, like $500 on risk or something. I'm not very good at figuring this out yet. I think it's something along those lines. I wish. Oh, you're on the minis or micros, yeah. So 250, yeah, that makes sense. Yep. Yeah, this is a solid trade. It's one of those. I don't know, just the Nasdaq in general taking a tear to the downside like this. I think that's generally not a great thing. For just like what is Tesla is, yeah, Tesla's coming down. Apple's ranging a bit. What else? Nvidia. Yeah, it's coming down too. So that's why the Nasdaq is down. Like all these blue chip stocks are just kind of ripping to the downside, right? So
You see gold this morning?
I didn't. Well, I actually looked real quick while I was looking at your thing, but then I was like, we're getting on call. Let me just answer that on call. Yeah, I think you took longs in where were you taking longs from? Was it right here or was it earlier?
Yeah. No, it was. I
Yeah.
knew that partial risk was on because we just did the 4 hour, but
Yeah.
the way it was setting up here after it broke into here, and then the way it continued to set up throughout this whole process, the longs were like, if you look at them, they were really clean, and then just tanked, and I was like, "Fuck."
Yeah, there's like a little aftershock here. This is NFP right here, right? Yeah, NFP, and
Yeah.
then it just what is this? Just for fun?
I don't know what happened.
Exactly, just for fun.
Is this is
Look,
like
if you see that 1 minute at this, even the entries were nice.
was it
No,
oh
Giovanni, I can explain what's happened. Some guys in Wall Street just look at the charts and they figure out, okay, Giovanni and Vlad take position, long position, and they just said, okay, sell it.
oh,
Yeah, I don't know. I know that from the 4 hour, I saw some end of a risk. On the 5 minute and 1 minute, I was like, okay,
what was your sweep though? This low?
No,
yeah,
it first, yeah, I got it.
But what data feed? Oh, it does sweep.
yeah,
See,
it
this is the
swept
thing
it.
though. This is the thing. I don't tend to take the liquidity from the low of the leg.
Yeah.
Because the thing that throws me off is that intention to the downside. I
Right.
will pretty much always look for something in that back leg itself to take. And if it takes the low, I get a little concerned. Now, the thing
Well,
is
even the next setup, even this setup right
right.
here,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
this price set up, it gave me more confidence from the first
I
one. So
took
that's where I
I
took a
took this.
continuation.
And that's what I was gonna say. At the end of the day, when you have this, I would be unsure about that first one. But as soon as I start to see demand hold and commitment to the upside, I'd be like, you know what? It's pro trend with a 4 hour, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
the 4 hours
another
per trend, and then it's set up twice on the 5 minute. Like that's the
It
only thing that
was,
would make
yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
yeah, this is a tough one. Because it took this high, came down, held this whatever this low with all this stuff
I
here,
think the second
broke
minute gave more
this,
confidence.
and then it broke this. Yeah, I can understand that. So then yeah, this going, looking for the continuation up. Well, what was the 5 minute? Oh yeah, and then you got another basically a substructure break to the upside here. And then from the M1, this doesn't really do much for us. Well, let's see. Low, demand hold. I could see a potential loss in here as well. Yeah, dude, this is just a little chaotic. I don't know what this is about. This is a big move down. That's all right. What should you do? Hey, all right. That's why I don't like to look at it. All this happened without me stressing.
Yeah.
This is why it's so important to just not look at it.
I think or people need to take some Jack Daniels, and just sit and look into the charts.
Yeah, 11 o'clock in the morning. Should be
Yeah,
drinking for sure.
it's when you have a boring life, you know.
Yo,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, this past week, or week and a half that I've been doing London and New York, the time has become one big blend. I don't know what, like my body doesn't know what's supposed to
Dude,
be
it's not good
daytime or
for you,
what's supposed to
man.
be nighttime. And like which is, but this is something I found good in it. Like it's gotten me to the point where now that I'm only trading pro trend, I'm taking every single setup that the setup shows like appears up clearly. I take it, so it solved that issue for me in the confidence area. But now, like I don't have a dip. I can't depict what part of the day it should. Like at nighttime, I'll be like, oh wow, I'm like wide awake, and then in the daytime, I'll be like, oh wow, I'm exhausted. But then like 2 hours later, I'm like, oh, should I be tired or awake? And now I'm just confused.
I don't know how you do it, man. I do know how you do it. I know that doesn't work because I've done it myself. I'm telling you, don't do it. It's so bad for your
Well, not
health.
even that. It's just what's changing my mind about it is the measuring. Like I want to be able to measure out, like my analytics and see how I'm doing. And it's like if I'm trading, London and New York, like, and then sometimes just London, or sometimes just New York, I can't really get a good measurement of how I'm performing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, but
It's been fun though.
but
It's
you
been
gotta ask
fun.
yourself, but is your performance like good? Is it like not in the sense of like your actual performance, but like can you realistically gauge your performance when you're
No,
like
you can't. Well, it's kind of hard because, like, if you think about it, it's like I get myself two trades in London, give myself two trades in New York, and then it's just like, well, if I'm performing a lot better in New York for a period of time, and then the next period of time, it's like I'm performing better in London. Like you're getting different measurements, and if sometimes you're performing half, like 50% on London, like and a 40% on New York, how are you supposed to break that down all easily, you know?
hmm This is why I trade like a 2, 3 hour window every day.
Yeah, no, that's just so much better. I'm going back to that this week. I told myself, let me get Friday over with, and then like next week I'm going back to just
Do you know
normal
the
easy schedule.
do you know the story of how the chalk was formed?
No,
Oh, I like this story.
no, go for it.
All right. So this was from when Albert and Sam were still at Phantom, and I only traded New York, and I pretty much traded the New York special. Only I didn't really tell anybody about the New York special because I didn't want them to know about it. But they were trading, they were trading something, mostly New York, I think. No, they had to have been trading London, whatever it was. They kept realizing that at London Open that there would be a huge move, but it wouldn't set up with the way that they were kind of looking at it. So they were like, what's the most aggressive way we can possibly get in with as little confirmation as possible so that way they could basically take like this, just like this super volatile move. And what they ended up doing was the chalk ended up evolving into something because I was like, you need a little bit more confirmation than what you're actually doing. Because they would just do any single little signal of high low broken or like a single candle or a wick of a high or a low or something like that. And it was purely made out of FOMO and just so that Albert and Sam could like execute any and all trades at London Open to catch the volatility. And it was just like it was just pure gambling and it was just pure like chaos. It was like they don't care. They wanted like I think there was like at some point they measured like the engulfing bar that came with it to like make sure that there was enough volatility that it was going to run and all that stuff. And I was like, you guys are absolutely crazy. And it was like just no confirmation, nothing. And that's when I started building um FTBs, failure to breaks, and FTBs became flips. And I was like, I'm not doing any of that stuff. I don't want anything to do with it. And they just went off with it. But then the community just like latched onto the chalk thing because it was like when you show an MT5 screenshot of you catching a low on London Open because you took the most aggressive thing possible, you know, sells, I guess. It's sexy. They're crazy, man. They're crazy. I don't know how they managed. The chalk messed up most people's trading, but it's insane how many people still use it.
Oh,
But
I
it's not this.
completely
It's not
agree.
the same though. They don't use it the way it was originally used. The chalk now is literally it's just a break of structure. Like they've they've peeled it back, but they still call it a chalk. It's just funny. Like once the course leaked and everything, like you still see it. If you ever look at Instagram and you look in your, your what are they called, discovery page or something, you have any sort of trading charts on there. It's all chalk stuff. It's so funny to me. Yeah, it works 100% of the time. It works 5% of the time, or 5% of the time. It works 100% of the time. What's it? Yeah. What's up, Charles?
Hey Brian, can you hear me?
Yeah, dude.
So glad I could finally join the calls. This is my first time
Welcome.
since joining in April.
Welcome,
Yeah.
welcome.
That's the hell
That
since April.
yeah, the time zone and my
Where are
work
you?
schedule doesn't really work. So yeah, it's like 2:30. No, it's almost 3 o'clock in the morning here now, and down in Australia.
Oh, you're in Australia? Where in Australia?
Yeah, Melbourne.
Oh, okay.
Oh, be
Yeah, so
careful.
it's three
There are
o'clock
a
in the
lot of
morning.
spiders.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Especially in the summer. Currently it's winter here now, so it's like 2 degrees outside. But
Oh, really?
during the summer, yes, all the insects, all the reptiles, all the arachnids you can see outside. Yeah, they
Giant
all come out
spider.
in the summer. But yeah, it's all good at the
Crazy.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah. What's
And
going
yeah,
on?
sorry. I just have a question on the M5. And also, before I ask that, I also have some, I'm wondering if we could look at some of my, I have 3 losses here. Is that something we
Yeah.
can do here?
Yeah. Do you have TradingView links? You can just link them. Or
Actually, I do have them on a spreadsheet. I was intending on sending it here, or maybe I can just share my
that's fine.
screen.
However, I can.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that works too. You can share a screen.
Yeah.
Uh,
My question about the M4 is,
how do I? Hold on one second. I think I need to let you share.
yeah.
Okay, try now.
Okay,
Did you
just
guys
give me.
take this trade, by the way? Just
Yeah,
curious.
I took.
Okay, good.
Uh,
On the future side?
am I
Oh,
on?
like EU futures? I don't see your screen. Oh, there it goes.
Okay. So I just have this question on the M5. So for example, we have M4 doing this bullish, and then we come back down to this AOI right here, and then the
Yes.
M5 shifts back. Maybe we get a setup, maybe you get a winning trade, whatever.
Mhm.
But what do we do once it comes back down, and maybe breaking this low?
Yeah.
At this point, what is like the ideal thing to do? Do we wait for it to realign? Do we wait for 2 breaks, 1 break? Are we as aggressive here
Is there
as we
do you have an idea of what you think the answer might be?
essentially because we're still on this in this like leg
Hmm.
that any realignments from here is pro trend. So I might jump on it aggressively as I have maybe jumped on here aggressively.
Hmm.
Is that the correct answer?
That is the correct answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what about what if we do something like this? So it broke this sort of like M5 main structure. What if we do something like this? It broke again.
Yeah.
At this point, would you be waiting for it to break the main high, or would you be aggressively trading it the same as these two? As long
So
as it's in the same sort of like bullish H4 leg
yeah.
here.
So the big thing is that H4 leg. As long as I feel confident in my H4 direction, because for my intraday, that's kind of where I marry my bias. If I take, let's say I take a trade in here and maybe it's a winner, maybe it's a loser, whatever, right? If within the same session we come down and we start to show another realignment, if it's in the same session, because I don't like to trade too much in one given session, depending on how things look and how that loss kind of felt to me in the moment, which I know is a bit subjective, I'm going
Mhm.
to look for price. Let's say on the second one here, right? I
Mhm.
probably won't take a substructure break. I'll probably look for
Basically a chalk.
yeah, a 5 minute chalk. No, so I'd rather see price take the low and then take the high and then come back M1 commitment to the upside. If that fails again, right, I'm gonna look for the pretty much the same exact thing. I'm gonna look for a main structure M5 shift and then M1 commitment here. And then if it breaks this low, and then I feel sad because I missed all these probable short opportunities, it's just kind of too bad. I don't like to trade counter trend in a pro trend move, even if the trade idea is obvious or it's set up nicely or whatever. It just goes against my plan completely because more than likely, if the trade does play out the way I need it to, and it goes for the 4 hour high, 4 hour stretch, or 4 hour fib targets, whatever it is, or even if it's the M5 fib targets, the return is always going to be much greater than any counter trend trade that I could have. I'd rather take 2 losses here than feel like I should be trading short in a bullish move. So for me, it's all about that realignment. I might be really aggressive with that first one and say substructure is fine. But then if it starts to fail, and I'm in maybe that same session again, or maybe it's a new session. Sorry if I get your mic's unmuted. Um, I'll probably wait for the M5 structure to go. Now, the other kind of where's my tool? What was it? Now the other part to that is you have stuff like this, right? Where you break this low, you break this high. It's kind of subtle. But then you
Yeah.
have this, right? You have the main like part of this whole leg. You have to figure out how you want to play that. If you're waiting for the whole leg to go, even though you have like little M5 movements within that leg, you kind of have to figure out, what are you satisfied with? For me, it's always going to be this stuff. I'm always looking at this.
Yeah. Because also one thing, I mean, if we reach this point right here, I take a step back. I was like, oh shit, we're in the range. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just trading up, down, down, up. You know what I mean? And I just hesitate and I just, don't trade at all. I'm
And
not
and
sure if
that's
that's a good thing. Yeah,
that
as
is
well.
that's totally fine. Staying cash is a position, right?
Yeah.
You can be in a trade or you cannot be in a trade. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just not be in a trade at all. For like again,
Okay.
when it comes down to the pro trend move, I do like to be aggressive because it does like to run and it doesn't always give a ton of opportunity. But occasionally it does. And I want to make sure that I'm getting in that thing because if it goes to the 4 hour high, that's my month done. 9 out of 10 times, if I get into a pro trend move, which I've gotten into 2 4 hour pro trend moves in the last 2 weeks, they've gone well into target without much, well, a little bit of a range, but generally not too bad. And I don't have to trade for the rest of the summer if I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's happening on G right now. Oh, well, my alerts haven't gone off, so it doesn't really matter. But
Same lot size, or is it you don't have your lot size due to the length of it that you're holding it?
say it again.
So is it the same lot size for the 4 hours, or are you adding an extra lot size just because you're holding it longer?
Oh, no. So, I mean, it depends on how the M5 is set up. I will typically have like a standard risk profile for any kind of trade, but then if I get like multiple M5 breaks and the trend looks clean and the setups look obvious, I scale in with size. I don't generally hold size to 4 hour targets like that because it seems like if I'm gonna maybe it's something I need to figure out, but it feels like if I get in with size on a scaling opportunity and I hold it for a 4 hour high or 4 hour fib target, then I'm hoping more than anything. Like the size plays with my head. So I tend to just use 5 minute fib levels when I'm putting size on. If that
Okay,
makes
yeah,
sense.
that makes sense. No, that makes sense. Cool.
Yeah, because putting on size is a little, for me, it's a little scary. For basically the last 3 years, I've only ever traded 0.5% or 1%. So putting, you know, 3 to 5% on a single trade is a little alarming. I used to do it with my scalping, like way back in the day, like 2 maybe 3 years ago. If I was up for the week, I would scalp on Fridays and I'd put some additional risk on, but it was like it felt more like don't want to say a gamble, but like I got out quickly. Like I was too afraid to hold it for lows or highs or anything like that. Because when you put on a size like that and the trade moves just a handful of pips, it grows. It's pretty hefty. You're like, oh shit. But then you realize like the loss that could come is pretty hefty. So that's what I'm working on. But does that help answer the question, Charles?
Yeah. It really helps. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, solid. Sweet.
I'm just trying to see if I can send a link or something, but
Okay.
for the file. I'm not sure. I've never done this before, but it's saying here, the blah 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 file is being shared in Zoom. Can you see
Oh.
it? Or no?
I don't see anything.
Oh shit.
Maybe there's some other kind of folder.
Yeah, just give me 2 seconds.
You can also share it in what do you call it? The community. If that makes sense.
Oh, okay, yeah. If you can give me 2 seconds.
All right, what time is it? 12. Jeez, pulling back, go figure. Wait, who's in NQ? You guys got short? Coast, good for you. You've been killing it. You didn't you take a 3-hour trade this morning? Or was that yesterday? Yesterday. Nice. 2 for 2.
It's in the general chat. Can you see it?
Let me find it. Hold on a second. Too many windows open. I swear I have like 6 windows open with just the advisory on it, and they're all hiding behind other windows. All right, so it's an Excel. All right, hold on. I'm gonna have to like upload this into Google Sheets and look at it and stuff. I don't actually keep Excel on my computer.
No way. You don't have.
Nope,
You don't
not
have
on this.
MS
No,
Office.
no. My this computer here, I don't keep it on. I have it on my laptop. I don't do it on my computer though. I try to keep my computer as like purely trading stuff as possible. Like all my funded future stuff that I work on, I work from my laptop, so I don't
Yeah.
mix my businesses and stuff here.
You're gonna freak out when you see my desktop. It's just probably should do a cleanup because it's a bit distracting. But
You mean like your physical setup?
no. It's just
Oh, okay.
files. Files from university like 5 years ago. Stuff like that from high school even. I just need to do a big cleanup, or maybe get like a hard drive and just keep everything there and keep everything clean.
That's what I do, man. I have like a whole RAID system here for all my videos and everything else. I've got like 80 terabytes
Yeah.
of storage right here.
Oof, that's a lot.
Yeah, I've recorded a lot of videos in the
How,
last
how many?
years.
How many? I'm curious. Like, what's the size of like a single call?
Uh, well, it depends. If I'm recording it and it's like I'm doing like a recap or something, they're pretty small because I what do I call it? Compress the size when I'm outputting it, but then on a Zoom call I don't, and it's all just recording a Zoom. Like this,
Yeah.
the last Zoom call was, let's see, it's right here actually. It's half a gig.
Oh, it's not too bad.
Not terrible,
Yeah.
but I would have 3 calls a week, you know.
Yeah.
And then everything from Phantom days, I've probably got about 300, maybe 200 videos from Phantom days. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of crap. Those videos, for some reason, I don't know if I just wasn't recording them right, but they're like 10, 15 gigs. They're huge.
Oof,
I
that's
record in, well, I record in 4K too, so
yeah, maybe that's why.
it's a bit much.
I remember when you posted only a video about front leg theory, and I
In
spent
Phantom?
Yeah. I spent like maybe I don't know. I don't know how many times I rewatch it, because I always try to figure out what you're talking about. Why you need to do it like this. So fun,
Yeah.
but yeah, I remember it. Funny.
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
was such a huge revelation. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh shit, we've been looking at price like this when we could have been looking at this way, the front leg. Like, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah,
Was
yeah,
it? It's just one of those things that kind of killed me. I was like, why are we looking at this monthly supply zone from like 20 years ago? Like, how is this relevant to what we're doing in the next hour? I
yeah.
don't get it. It didn't make any
Yeah,
sense.
Yeah,
never did,
100%.
never did make sense to me.
And I remember how I was sad when when you left Phantom, and
Yeah.
they just said okay, everything will be okay, and next day they just cut every video from from their library,
Yeah.
and I
They
just
were
yeah.
they were pretty pissed. So,
Yeah.
it is what it is. I don't know.
Brian, can I ask you a quick question?
What's up, Greg?
I know in previous calls you mentioned that you was going to do a video on liquidity and marking out the 5 minute time frame. Do you still plan on doing those videos?
Yeah, I still want to do them. I just have to make sure that, so one of the things that has been kind of an issue with just how things are approached in general here is I'm trying to make sure that I don't over refine stuff. The course is laid out in a way that it should be. It's the way that I meant it to be, right? That was before everybody had questions and I was answering questions. Some questions I feel like I had to come up with an answer that I didn't necessarily even think about before, had questions about or answers for before, and inadvertently I ended up over refining some of the stuff because some of the students wanted to avoid certain losses. So like I can find a way to do that. And then what ended up happening was we're starting to shift how things are actually working. So I don't like that. So when I'm considering making these videos, I have to make sure that it remains true to what the original videos are talking about. And I have to go back. I want to rewatch all them. The other thing too is, if I'm being totally honest, I'm kind of in a point where I need my kids to go back to school like really bad. Like I love having them here, but
Okay.
they're driving me absolutely nuts, and I feel like I'm dropping the ball in certain places, and I don't really like it. So I do owe those videos for sure, and I do plan on making them. I just want to make sure I do it in a way that's not gonna kind of damage what the overall trade idea is supposed to be. So I'm just kind of tiptoeing around it, to be honest. But yes, they're coming.
Hey, Brian, sorry, were you able to access the file? Or,
See you, David. Yeah, I need to.
I can just share my screen if it's,
Yeah, that'd be easier because I gotta
okay,
open up
yeah.
Google and put it on.
Share my screen again.
What is you doing? Come on.
It's been like that all week. Like price will react from the entry point, and then like it'll give a good reaction, and it swings back and then takes you out. That's what it's been doing all week. I was gonna ask if you think it has anything to do with how price begins to act when the NFP week comes on.
Yeah, I mean this is just low volume BS, NFP hit, everybody's like, I'm done for the day, and we just can't get it to move. And that's kind of how it works. This is why I like to take one trade a day. It's like I take it, it looked good. If it doesn't go, it is one trade. It's whatever. But it's just annoying. But I would not even be looking this. I'm sure I would have been curious as to why my alerts haven't gone off yet, though. And I'd check on it and see that and be like, oh God, let's close it again. All right, all right, yeah, go ahead. I
Yeah,
can see the
sorry
screen.
guys, I'm gonna blind you for like 5 minutes.
We got white
So,
charts?
yeah.
Boy.
I mean, I do have
Yeah.
what is this? Sorry, I can't. When I'm looking at price, I use this, but when I do my EODs, I do white. I don't know, it's just something. Yeah, so pretty much I have a fair bit of a sort of like an idea of what's happening, but if I could get some confirmation that maybe this is a valid loss, or maybe I'm not seeing something that you're seeing. But yeah, pretty much this first one here, ADUSD, July 29th. So I was basically just following this like sort of like substructure down.
Yeah.
So on the M5, so did reach this part right here, and then this part, and it traded back up, and it sort of like traded down in here, and tried to trade this M5 right here.
So go back to that real quick. Oh, hold on. Where's my annotate tool? Annotate. Switch back to red. So one of the things that we have to keep in mind is basically this right here. This is basically here. Right. So we take this, we take this, we take this, we hit the H4 low, and then we go and take the M5 high, which is indicating, the counter trend movement. So while you're realigning to the downside, right, on the M5 substructure, we kind of just took out that high. So that would give me pause, especially because from the H4 perspective, we're playing in substructure more than we are in main structure. So that's just something to consider.
Okay. What if this is just straight down? Would that change your sort of idea?
If this is straight down and this was the break theory? Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if this setup here, I could see trading continuations lower.
Okay, so this is like the main issue for this one, because
yes.
I'm not sure. Would you be able to look at the entry itself? Like, is this okay?
Yeah, so I mean, like if everything else was fine and it made sense to get short there, you basically have your break theory, you trade back in, you'd be looking for supply to hold. For me, my supply hold would be this guy. Then the question would be, is there liquidity? So you take the high, or sorry, you make a high, you take a low, you take the high, you hold supply, you break the low. Yes, I like that.
Okay.
Yep.
So these, yeah. So it's mainly the M5 that's the issue for this one.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thanks for that. Moving on to the second one. So this is same day in gold. So I'm not sure if I'm looking at price, right? Because I was having a chat with some of the guys, and I think their bias is longs for this one, but I'm looking at it. My bias was short for this one. What do you think?
Yeah, so this one's kind of weird. I was also thinking shorts because I was just mapping low gone, low gone. But then one of the things that we have to kind of track, because we've been seeing this a little bit lately, is that in this leg right here, we've had lower lows, right, at every single candle. And then the problem is we're getting no spacing. There's no structure per se, right? But then on the other side of this, we're seeing discernible highs. So then this high went. And as soon as that high went, then it's like, well, we got this little substructure, or not substructure, but break theory level. You got another break theory level. So they started mapping this as the front leg, which I can understand.
Yeah.
But from like overall main structure expectational order flow, we're bearish. Right? That's how I'm seeing it. And then in this case, it just it built basically a new kind of substructure front leg here, which ended up, I think, committing to the upside. And that's hard to read in the live market, in my opinion.
No, I honestly didn't see that until you marked it out. I just saw it as just one leg up. You know what I mean?
The tricky part about it is this stuff, this particular leg, because there's no spacing in the downside, but there's a clear high build here. And we saw that on another pair. That might have been GU or maybe EU. I can't remember what it was, something recently. Oh, NQ. NQ was like that, yeah. It gets a little weird. It's one of those wishy-washy ones. But really what matters is looking at the direction that price is trading in and then looking at the relative highs. So if we're trading up, do I have a high? Yes. If we were trading down, right? There would be nothing kind of in here for me to use to continue trading down. But because we traded against that and there was a high, we used that.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. So for the M5 right here, this high didn't quite break, so I was like, okay, this broke down, but I'm not like overly convinced. So I sort of like waited for it to go up again to this break theory range and waited for a sub break. But yeah, I didn't. I only saw it in hindsight, sort of. But the M5 looks ugly here. I don't know.
Yeah, so
It's
these
wiki and
wicks.
yeah,
Yeah. What session is this? London for
London.
you?
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't know. This is around Frankfurt Open.
Yeah. So one of the things we keep in mind is like we have those kind of red flags, right? And those red flags are in place to basically indicate a potential range because it showcases low volume, right? If you have large wicks on both sides of the market, if you have tight pricing, no spacing, all that, if you have highs and lows gone, all of that indicates just adverse price, right? So it's going to show that there's no discernible big players in the market and that there's a good probability that price will just kind of range. It'll take highs and take lows and we'll just get chopped around. That's why we can use those to get out. So in this case, it's pretty decent spacing to be fair. The big part is, like you said, it's really heavy in the wicks. And
Yeah,
that's kind of one of those red flags. You're like, you know
yeah.
what? It's not great.
Yeah, I was a bit hesitant until I saw this break because this break it looked like it had volume in it, just by the way it broke down with the full body.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hit it.
Depends on what
But
the
yeah,
M1 looks like after that too, If the M1 you think is clear, because if you look at those wicks on the M5, that's just large imbalances on the M1 where it takes highs and lows. So
yeah.
if yeah, that can get dicey.
So on the M1, it's pretty much this break here is this, right?
Hmm.
And traded back up, sort of like swept this area right here,
Yeah.
and then traded down, respect here, and then yeah, I just entered here.
Did it go to target?
Nah,
Oh, it
sorry.
didn't?
It looked like it did.
Close.
For almost it almost did,
Was
but it traded back up, unfortunately. And yeah, I tried not to break it even, but I'm not that. I'm not. I don't think I've reached that level of psychology yet
yeah. I think
to not break even. But yeah,
I think some people break even when it hits sandbag. Is that right? I think some people
yeah. I
might be
think you
doing
mentioned in one of the calls as
Yeah,
well.
that's
Like,
what I've been doing.
that. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, I think you mentioned in one of the
Yeah,
calls as well. Once the M5 low gets broken, you can break even.
Yeah.
especially this past week, it's been hitting like it'll hit sandbag or it'll hit the low, the 5 minute range, and then it'll just come like pull back and then take me out. So I've just been moving my stop loss to break
Yeah.
even after.
I think we're getting just a lot of low volume markets, and then when big players come in, there's no resistance. So when the big players come in, there's just large imbalances because there's
Right.
no resistance. So it just goes. Um, and when you have low volume with no big players, you just get rangy PA. And I think that's just indicative of summer months. But summer's
Yeah.
almost over for us, Jonathan. But it's not for West Coast, East Coast. They don't finish school or finish summer until September. Yeah. But for us, these kids are back. They're back in school, baby. Woo! Gonna be living the life. Can't wait.
You,
You're
you
tired
have
of having the kids at home.
Oh, I love the kids, man. I feel guilty
Hearing your voice.
sometimes. I it's fun to talk about, but no, I feel bad sometimes because I'll either have to send them to camp for the day because I've got meetings with lawyers, I've got meetings with people at my Fund of Futures, I've got calls with you guys, I've got like I have this tournament coming up this weekend. It's like I just want to hang out with the kids a little bit, but I got to ship them off to camp for the day, and it's like I'm gonna pick them early and stuff and hang out, but it's like I feel bad, but they're having fun. I called them earlier yesterday. I was like, "Hey, can I pick you up? Like, are you You guys having fun still, or you want to stay? They're like, no, we want to stay. It's like, all right, fine. Guess I'll see you later then. It's crying by myself over here. But it's cool. It's cool. They want to hang out with me. You know? They just want their mother. How kids are. They want mommy. Mommy ain't
Oh,
here,
if
dude.
if you think this is bad, wait till they hit 12, 13, basically puberty. They're gonna hate you.
Okay. Thanks. Can't wait.
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing too, is like they're not gonna be tiny and want my attention for too much longer. So trying to make the most out of it. Mine won't leave me alone. They're both in your office right now. Well, are they young still, Jonathan? Oh yeah, dude. That's gonna be there until they're 10, 11, 12 probably. Mine are 8 and 5. My son is my mini me. I listen to a lot of metal, like a lot of like hard metal, like deathcore metal stuff. And my son last night is like, he's asking his Alexa to like play death metal, and he's just in his room on his little microphone, just screaming his face off. I was like, "What is happening?" I thought he was dying. Like, it's like I'm listening to wild music. I'm like, "All right, buddy, have fun, man."
That's funny.
Are they into sports, man?
What's that?
Are they into sports?
Yes, yeah. Little man he plays football, soccer, and my
Yeah.
daughter. I coach my daughter's team, and everybody actually starts up next week. So we've had the summer off, but practice starts next week. But she plays like volleyball, and she's got some track coach that wants her to run track because she's fast and like I don't know, it sounds kind of boring to be honest. But
Yeah, but that's good. Like it bursts their energy, you know. Like usually,
I
like I
know.
was pretty like adrenaline filled child, and my parents were like, just get him anywhere, just put him anywhere. So I started like Aikido, and then they just like, okay, so that's not enough. So then okay,
That's not enough.
put him yeah. So then put him into the pool. So I went to Aikido, for 1 hour, then into the pool 1 hour. This was like when I was 10, something like that, 9, 10. And bro, when I got home, I'm like beat, you know, like I cannot move, like I just go straight to bed, and they're like, "Yay, we found the solution."
Yeah, the pool is definitely a good one.
Yeah, it also makes your eyes like very like, you know, we were talking about like the chlorophyll, I think that's the word for it. Like they
Chlorine,
put a
yeah.
lot, yeah, they put a lot in the pool, and then your eyes get like very like red. Like I remember when I was like 14, 15, whenever I go to school, like after the morning practice, like they would think I'm stoned to death, you know?
Yeah, no,
And
my
like the,
kids like my kids wear goggles in the pool. They can't handle the chlorine. They're soft.
yeah, that no man, that would be probably smarter thing to do. Like I couldn't, like after I got used to like, oh, like I would have my eyes open everywhere I go, like in any water, like if I go to the sea, if I go to the lake, like everywhere where I
Nah,
bathe, I
dude.
guess
You
my
can't you
eyes
can't
were
do
wide
lake
open.
water, man. That's how you get like worms.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, but
No,
yeah, it used like that was crazy
that's
stuff.
funny. All right. Well, before I head off, Charles,
Yeah.
did we get your questions answered?
Oh, yeah. It's perfect. Thank you so much. Sorry, just one question here. Would you take something like this? Like,
Uh,
I hesitated a bit, but it did have this like sort of fat doji here, and it did
where's
sweep
my?
something,
I hate
and
this
it
end.
did break this sort of like mini low.
So would I
Oh.
take this as in like that?
Yeah,
Like
would you
this
enter
is
here?
my supply hold. And
Yeah,
does it sweep this high? Is that what you're saying?
yeah. I did not take this because it looked too subtle for me.
I personally don't really take these subtle holds. I look
Okay,
for clear areas where it
like this
stops,
one.
trades away, holds definitively, breaks, and then trades in. Those are the ones that I go for. These subtle ones, um, they are valid, but again, to me, the most obvious setups are the best setups, and these are obvious to me. These are not. So
Okay,
yeah, I try to avoid those subtle ones.
yeah. Just one last one quickly. Sorry.
All good.
So, this one, when was this? 31st. GU. So I got this like
Uh-huh.
break downside here. I'm not sure what happened here, but there isn't like a break theory here that I can see. So I just assume that it's within the leg, so I'll just continue shorting.
Yep, that's fine.
So M5. I think this is funny because I'm not sure if I'm being smart about this because he got this like move down, and then it took the high,
Yep.
swept, but then I was like, okay, it took that low here, and then
Mhm.
it took it again. So basically for me, it's like, oh, maybe it's price realigning because there's two breaks to the downside.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So but when it came back here, I just hit it. Would
Okay.
you take something like this, or
I
would
took
you be
something
thrown
like
off?
this. Yeah, I took something like this the day before. It was the same exact thing where we took the high, took the low, and my rule says, hey, if we start taking highs, taking lows,
Yeah,
right? Now, normally what happens is it takes the high, takes the low, and then it takes the high again. I'm like, okay, I'm
yeah,
ready. So, and
yeah,
in this particular case, which is very similar to the prior day, where it took a high and then it took the low, I said, you know what? It's realigned to the downside. Let me
yeah.
just go ahead and get in. I took a loss just like this one. I took it
Okay.
on, I think it was the advisory plus call, right, Vlad? I don't know if he was there. Um, but
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure we took a call like this. And I
Yeah,
remember distinctly saying, we just took the high, now we're taking the low again. I probably shouldn't get in this trade. But personally, I've been struggling with, I want to trade live with you guys. Like, I very much
It
want
was
to.
my trade. It was my
I,
trade. We discussed it. Yeah.
yeah, well, I think it's important for me as somebody who's teaching you guys to trade the strategy that I trade the strategy with you. But sometimes I feel like I sort of force a setup just to execute something in front of you rather than when normally if we weren't on a call, I wouldn't really consider it. So this is like one of the things that I'm trying to battle as like a mentor because I want to continue to do it, but I need to get better at it. So in this case, my issue was that we took the high, and then for me, it
yeah,
should have held the high. It should have continued bearish. It should have just held supply, should have continued to break lows. Expectational order flow should have maintained, but it didn't. I took the trade anyways, and I was wrong because it did this. It just went right back up, ranged for a little
yeah.
bit, something like that. I don't know.
Because right here, like it took the high, took the low.
Mhm.
At this point, I'm definitely not looking for an entry because who knows what price is gonna do. But when
Yeah.
it took the low again, I was like, oh, okay, there's a bit more conviction in that, so I'll hit it.
Yeah.
But yeah, didn't work.
And one of the things that's kind of, I mean, I don't know if it would have helped in this case at all, but sometimes what you can do is you can wait. So you can say, hey, it took that high. So, it took this high. You can go back to the M1.
Oh, sorry.
We took the high, we took the low. Let's see, do we get a supply hold, a sweep? Okay, great. Let me wait for another supply hold and let me just confirm that we are trading down. And I think it would have yielded the same result. Or let me wait for the like main structure break. But even in this case, I don't think it would have worked for us anyways. I think so it would have resulted in the loss. But in other cases, you usually get um more opportunity where it's like, hey, let me wait for that extra supply hold, and then it trades higher. And you're like, okay, I avoided a loss there. That's great. In this case, I think the loss is inevitable if you don't use this singular kind of red flag here. But yeah, no,
Yeah,
we all take trades like that. It's kind of like one of those things. Well, what if it keeps going? Okay, or you can take the
yeah.
loss. Yeah.
Brian,
What's up?
sorry man to interrupt. It was about the time when you said you guys were talking about like you said actually that you want to trade like live and you like trying to catch the trades when we're live.
Mm-hmm.
I think I asked you this before as well. Like I think it was like my first month when you just opened. And also somebody else had the same like idea or something. Like would you do like back testing like session for like 2 weeks live like it's same like this like coffee session
Yeah.
or whatnot, and just maybe like make it a 1 month or 2 month once actually every 2 months, something like that, or maybe once a month to do like a session where you like backtest? Because I remember when you were in Phantom, like I used to
Yeah.
watch the like binge watch those videos all the time. I remembered like
I
exactly
was
where
just
the
about to
boss
ask
is.
that same question because I was about to say the same thing. I remember we used to have that in
Yeah.
Phantom. I'd go back to that when it was like studying days. I'd just go to the 2 hour videos. You'd be going over like a good amount of price action. It was like
Yeah,
it's
like
good
your
to kind of support the theory and everything.
I mean, does it help? Would it help if they're live, or do you want me to just record backtesting sessions for you again? Like, what would you guys prefer? Because
I
there's
mean,
going to be a lot of opinions
Both.
in a live one.
You could do
yeah,
live
like
ones where people don't opinionate. You just like it says if you're recording. You can do the recorded ones to post, but if you do live ones just don't. Just
Yeah,
don't
I mean,
have your mic on.
we
You're
can
not
definitely
looking
give
at
it
but
we can definitely give it a shot.
your stuff. You know.
See how it goes. Yeah.
You can put that. You can put those on your ongoing education.
Yeah.
Those were fire. That's what
Well,
help level up my trading.
if we did it live, we'd have to have some kind of structure. We can't aimlessly backtest for, hours on end kind of thing. So I'll figure out a good way to do it, and then we can definitely throw them in.
The 2 hours that you used to record and then post, like those 2 hours could be the live. Just I would just put up the recording thing, page, and then put it in the back end.
All right.
Now you don't have to deal with anything, and then you
Yeah.
could just take that recording and you can post that on the ongoing education. That
Yeah, I mean, if
and
that's
the
if that's what
students
you
and
guys
everything.
want,
Just do your
if that's
thing.
what you guys want, we can definitely figure that one out and get some live back testing in, and I can start trying to get some recordings in as well, and then go from there.
yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Ryan, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, really appreciate it.
Of course. But what's GU doing? We're still in this. All right. We're still good. All right, I gotta run, but
Brian, quick question. Do you play chess?
no, I don't.
Okay.
Do you play League of Legends?
No, I like first person shooters and I'm more of like a what do you call it? Like a jock. Not a brain on the games. I don't even like COD really. I like Overwatch. PUBG is fun. Apex is fun. I've been playing finals with my friends. Um, finals is pretty
Okay.
fun.
We need to. Everybody need to buy PS5 and buy some football, FIFA. And we
Oh
can.
yeah, we could play FIFA. That'd be fun.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. And sometimes we can spend
PC
time
Master
for
Race.
team building.
We could definitely incorporate some game time if you guys all play. Are there a lot of people here that play?
Yeah, I like it. FIFA good, but I'm better in UFC, but FIFA good too.
People would be fun. People would be so much fun.
Mhm.
Make
Man,
an
I haven't
advisory,
played. I haven't played FIFA.
Blackwatch advisory FIFA squad.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Blackwatch FC, man. Let's go. Oh,
Okay,
you have
guys.
two custom PCs? Like I mean, I also have two custom. Well, I built my last one. I built the one before that. Yeah, I love building computers. Dude, I don't need a new computer, but I've been really toying around with getting some new parts and I want to build like a mini tower. Try to get something small and compact, powerful. Just worried about cooling it. All right. Yeah, I feel like my wife would probably be like, "Why are you buying more computer parts?" See,
I
that's
broke even on the original trade. I'm waiting to get back in on this lower low.
You always can say it. You need it for trading.
well, I want to buy a new camera because I want to
Yeah,
get back
yeah.
to YouTube. Oh man. Yeah, see, I need AMD parts. I have Intel parts, and Intel literally just announced a day or two ago that all of their CPUs, like their i9, i7 generation, or line, they're all like dying. And I've had to replace my i9 like twice in the last year. Um, so now I want to build a full AMD build. I don't know though. Seems like a lot of work. What GPU do you have? Oh, let me stop recording this before I just kill the time.